Star Trek teases the return of one of its most controversial characters. For nearly 6 decades, Star Trek has thrived on bold storytelling, challenging ideas, and characters who spark passionate debates among fans. Sometimes those debates are about beloved captains or misunderstood villains. Other times they swirl around divisive figures who split the fandom down the middle. Now, with modern Star Trek series constantly pulling from the franchise's deep history, the stage may be set for the return of one of its most controversial characters, someone whose reappearance could reshape how audiences view them decades later. The question is, who will it be, and why does Star Trek feel ready to revisit them now? Why Star Trek keeps resurrecting old characters. One of the most fascinating aspects of modern Star Trek is its willingness to bring back characters from eras long past. Star Trek: Picard became a reunion for the Next Generation crew. Strange New Worlds resurrected Captain Pike, Number 1, and Spock's early years. Even animated shows like Lower Decks are filled with cameos from characters fans never expected to see again. But Star Trek doesn't just bring characters back for nostalgia's sake. It often uses them to reframe old storylines, explore unanswered questions, or even challenge fans' assumptions. Take 7 of 9, once a lightning rod of controversy in Voyager due to her catsuit costume and ratings stunt introduction. She's now one of the most respected and complex figures in modern Trek thanks to Picard. That's why the idea of reintroducing a controversial character is so tantalizing. The franchise has a proven track record of giving once divisive figures a second life, and the result can be a complete reevaluation of their legacy. Candidates for a controversial comeback. If Star Trek really is teasing the return of one of its most polarizing figures, several characters stand out as prime candidates. Each comes with baggage, fan division, and untapped storytelling potential. 1. Wesley Crusher. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Few characters have been more divisive in Trek history than Wesley Crusher. Introduced as the wunderkind son of Dr. Beverly Crusher, Wesley was often criticized as a Mary Sue character who solved impossible problems faster than seasoned Starfleet officers. Fans mocked his "shut up, Wesley" moments, while others saw him as a relatable outsider figure for younger viewers. Wil Wheaton himself stepped away from the show amid tension, but Wesley's later arc, including his ascension to a higher plane of existence with the Traveler, left the door open for a return. Picard Season 2 even briefly revisited him, confirming he still travels beyond space and time. Could Star Trek finally give Wesley a chance to prove the naysayers wrong? A return in Starfleet Academy or Strange New Worlds could let him mentor cadets or intervene in galactic-scale events. Wesley is controversial, yes, but like 7 of 9, he's ripe for redemption. 2. Captain Gabriel Lorca. Star Trek: Discovery. Jason Isaacs' Captain Lorca was one of Discovery's most compelling characters, and one of its most divisive. Initially framed as a morally gray but pragmatic Starfleet captain during wartime, Lorca was later revealed as a ruthless imposter from the Mirror Universe. Some fans loved the twist. Others felt cheated, having invested in a character they thought would be a darker but still genuine addition to Starfleet's legacy. Lorca's betrayal left a bitter taste, and his death closed off immediate redemption. But Isaacs himself has expressed interest in returning. Perhaps a prime version of Lorca is still alive, waiting to be discovered. Bringing him back would not only reframe his arc, but also offer a fresh exploration of leadership, morality, and second chances in Starfleet. 3. Kai Winn Adami. Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. If we're talking about controversial, few characters stir the pot like Kai Winn. As Bajor's spiritual leader, Winn was manipulative, power-hungry, and morally compromised, often putting her ambition ahead of her people's best interests. She clashed constantly with Sisko and Kira, and fans either loved to hate her or simply hated her. But that complexity made Winn unforgettable. Louise Fletcher's performance brought chilling gravitas to a character who was as much a victim of her insecurities as she was a perpetrator of cruelty. Imagine a Star Trek series exploring Bajor's recovery after the Dominion War. What if Winn's legacy continues to shape Bajoran politics and spirituality? Perhaps even in death, her teachings or her mistakes haunt the next generation. Winn's return could be more symbolic, through flashbacks or her influence echoing in Bajor's society. 4. Tasha Yar Star Trek: The Next Generation. Denise Crosby's Tasha Yar was meant to be TNG's tough as nail security chief, but her abrupt death in Season 1 remains one of the show's most controversial decisions. Many fans felt the character never got her due, and Crosby herself left amid creative frustrations. While Yar technically returned in alternate timeline stories and as her daughter Sela, her legacy is still unsettled. Modern Trek could easily revisit her through time travel, parallel universes, or even holoprograms. A well-handled comeback might finally give Yar the development she was denied in the late 1980s. 5. Neelix Star Trek: Voyager. Neelix is arguably Voyager's most divisive crew member. Cheerful, bumbling, and often comic relief, Neelix was beloved by some as a heartwarming morale officer but despised by others as grating and unnecessary. His relationship with Kez, particularly given her youthful appearance, has also aged poorly in fan discussions. Yet Neelix left Voyager on a surprisingly poignant note, staying behind to help a community of fellow Talaxians. Revisiting him years later could show how he's grown as a leader, turning him from an annoyance into a fully realized statesman. If Star Trek loves nothing else, it's giving underappreciated characters a second chance. Why now? The cultural shift in Star Trek. What makes the idea of a controversial character returning so exciting today is how much the landscape of Trek has changed. In the 80s and 90s, television often had little patience for complex arcs that redeemed or reframed divisive characters. Now, audiences expect layered storytelling, gray morality, and redemption arcs. Think about how fandom has evolved. Characters once dismissed as annoying like Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars are now reevaluated with empathy. Online communities allow fans to share different perspectives, finding appreciation for characters once universally derided. Modern Trek shows are unafraid to explore darker or unconventional angles, making them perfect for revisiting past mistakes. This cultural shift means characters like Wesley Crusher, Neelix, or even Kai Wynn could be reintroduced not as the butt of fan jokes, but as layered individuals with new stories to tell. Which show could handle their return? Different modern Trek shows are better suited to different controversial comebacks. Starfleet Academy, perfect for Wesley Crusher or even a Prime Lorca, guiding cadets while wrestling with their reputations. Strange New Worlds. With its episodic structure and nostalgia-heavy tone, this show could easily explore Tasha Yar via a time anomaly or Neelix through a Delta Quadrant flashback. Section 31. A spin-off about Starfleet's shadowy organization could revisit morally ambiguous figures like Lorca or even Kai Wynn's lingering influence. Lower Decks. The animated comedy thrives on fan debates, making it an ideal venue to poke fun at Neelix or Wesley while giving them unexpected depth. The risks of bringing back controversy. Of course,